What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. My name's Kyle, aka Prince Kyle, don't forget it, and I have an Instagram as well as a TikTok where I share my female to male transition as well as give tips to anybody that would like to hear about it. As you can tell, the title and thumbnail, they speak for themselves. Transition goals. No, we're not doing that anymore. We're getting rid of it. Pretend this is transition goals. We're done. We are done with them. Throw them out. Throw them out. I really hope that didn't break. Transition goals. What are they, you may ask? Transition goals is pretty much something that is heavily used within the transgender community. It means to want one's transition to look similar to somebody else's transition. Maybe somebody idolizes a transgender person and they really want their transition to replicate that transition. For example, someone who is trans and is a bodybuilder and goes on stage and does shows and really resembles America's idea of what it means to be a man. Some people will say, oh, well, when I transition physically, I really hope to look like that bodybuilder trans guy because they look perfect and I want to be perfect. And although that is a positive phrase, it's very negative for the person saying it because now they have this idea that they're not perfect enough until they reach that goal. And it's super unrealistic because there are no two people that look exactly the same. Today we're going to be talking about all of these things because I need everyone, especially my follow base, to know that their transition or their future transition is perfect. We're not gonna do the transition goals anymore. We gotta let it go. Now, having goals obviously is not a bad thing. As human beings, we all have goals. Like, it is in our human nature to have goals because goals are set so that we can progress in life until we eventually die, obviously. So goals are necessary for humans, but when done in this kind of way, it is not something that is going to progress positively in your life. If anything, it's just going to add negative things to your life because now you are going to partake in negative things to hopefully reach these unrealistic goals. Because again, you cannot reach a specific goal that someone else has reached because you do not share the same body type, the same needs to maintain that body type, and it's just leading you down a very, very negative path and a very, very dysphoric path because now you are just constantly trying to look a specific way. Now, every now and again, I get messages from people who are obviously genuinely being nice and saying like your transition goals and you look amazing and I hope one day I look like you and I hope one day when I transition, my transition is as successful as yours. And up front, I really appreciate it because it like you're saying something positive about me, but then you may not realize that you are saying something negative about yourself because you are saying you hope to look like I do because right now you don't think you're good enough, and that's not ideal and it's not true. We all are just perfect the exact way we are, and honestly nothing needs to be changed. The only thing that may need to change is your mindset of what it means to be perfect, and that's all. Now, early in my transition, back in it's been so long now. I think like 2017 is when I started transitioning. Back then, I used to always have trans goals. Like, I always wanted to look like specific people. Back in 2017, it was a huge, huge thing on the internet where transgender people started bodybuilding and started doing all different types of weight training and just trying to get their body as perfect as possible to mimic what it meant in America to be a man and to like have a specific body type. And don't get me wrong, there are a lot of trans people who genuinely like working out and who are bodybuilders, truly, because I do have some friends that are trans on the internet who do promote like bodybuilding and fitness. So I'm not saying that people are faking it, but back in 2017 when I first started my workout journey, it was because a lot of trans people were doing it and I wanted to fit in and I wanted to meet the criteria of what it meant to be trans back then, or to be a trans man back then. And it started to get very negative very quickly because I started to get very dysphoric about my body, which is something I never struggled with before. although I hated the like female parts of my body, I never grew up hating like my body weight or the size I was. I was always athletic growing up, so I always like maintained like a relatively healthy body type. But as I started getting into fitness and calisthenics and trying to mimic a lot of trans influencers who had a body type that I would have like killed for, I started seeing that I was starting to eat in ways that were not necessary, because again, I grew up in a very like healthy state. I didn't need to go on extreme diets. I didn't need to worry about gaining weight crazy. So the diets I was going on were just super unrealistic and not healthy because I was doing it to the extreme measure. And I would get so down on myself because I was like, all right, I'm on testosterone now. Why am I not seeing the changes that I want? Why am I not looking like this person who has like a six-pack and a V-cut that is so sharp, it'll literally cut you? How come I'm not getting that shape? How come I still have love handles, although I'm working out crazy, although I'm relatively skinny? How come I still have this fat around my waist that this trans person doesn't have? And when you have these expectations that are not realistic because you can't look like someone else, you start doing things that are not going to be ideal for you and are going to be negative for you and could potentially be harmful for you. It was a long journey for me, honestly, up until like last year, and sometimes still now, where I have very, very extreme dysphoric moments because I want to look like specific people, and it's just not going to happen for me because of maybe my genetics, my body type. Like, we all have specific body types, and although I can slim down in certain areas that I want, it may not completely go away, and it may not look exactly like the person that I want to look like who has a perfectly straight torso, because their genetics are different than my genetics. And that's the key thing. So back to people that reach out to me and say like, you are trans goals, like I want to look like you when I transition, and like I want arms like you, or I want this, I want that. It's not realistic to have exact goals of someone else. You have to do things your own way. You have to learn to love your body. You have to learn to love the changes that are going to happen because your body is your body and not the next person's. You just have to learn to set goals within yourself for your transition, for every day in life, for your wealth, for your family, everything. But specifically for this video, just for your transition. You have to set realistic expectations, and you have to love yourself throughout the entire journey of that. And then, honestly, once you reach that, then that is transition goals. Transition goals is when you can mentally transition and love yourself the entire journey from start to finish. That's when you really reach transition goals. Now, piggybacking to when I first transitioned, sorry, this video is kind of getting all over the place, but back to when I first transitioned and I first started getting really heavy in the gym, I was in the gym like 3 times a day, I kid you not, just because I was so motivated to look like specific people. And here we are today. I will tell you guys, I still don't look like those people. And I know some of you are probably like Kyle, you look great, you look healthy, you look like you hit the gym a lot. I honestly don't hit the gym that much anymore. I only work out maybe 3 times a week if I'm feeling up for it. I'm trying to get better, but I, for years, have struggled with trying to just compete and keep up with and try and get this physique that I used to want so bad when I see certain people on the internet. I actually had to delete some of them just for my own mental health, to regather my own self-confidence within myself and to set goals with just me and no longer set goals to look like Mr. Bob on Instagram or whatever. So it's been a long journey, and it's been a really, really hard time with my dysphoria, and I truly don't think my dysphoria would have been as bad as it was if it wasn't for the influence on the internet to look a specific way. And I don't want anyone to think that I'm saying, all right, go delete everybody who is your idol or who you want to look like. I'm not saying that, but sometimes it can get that bad to where you may want to do that for a few months just so you're not comparing yourself to certain people who have a specific look. You want to just focus on yourself and your own goals. And once you can do that, the sky is the limit, and your confidence is gonna boost tremendously. So I hope you guys all see where I'm going with this video. You can have goals. Goals are not bad. You can have body goals. They're really not bad, but set them with yourself and set the bar high. Set it as high as you can. Set the bar to where, hey, this is my body type. This is the thing. These are the things that I need to do to make changes so that I can look better than I did yesterday. Instead of saying, so I can look like this person, do it in a way where you're saying, I want to look better than I did a month ago or 3 months ago, or I want to get back to the size I was when I was in high school or middle school. Well, maybe not middle school because you're still growing and yeah, you don't want to look like a little kid, but you know what I mean. Set the bar to where like you want to look like you did at your healthiest and go from there. But always set goals with yourself, either your past self, your future self, whatever, but never compare with other people because it's not realistic. All right, with that being said, that is all for today's video. I do want to be transparent with you guys. I think I might go back to every other week videos just because I'm trying to get established with my mental health and things that are coming up in the future with the surprise that I still have to tell you guys. But yeah, I have a lot going on and I want to be as mentally strong as I can, because I do struggle with that, as most of you know. So I may go back to bi-weekly videos, but the YouTube shorts will still be uploaded throughout the week. I'm not going to slow down on those. But yeah, I think I'm just going to cut back on the YouTube videos and kind of go from there. Again, I hope you guys understand where I'm coming from with this video. I'm not trying to sound like a douche, and I do appreciate when you guys do reach out to me and say like, oh, your transition goals or this, that, and the third. But I just want you guys to feel as beautiful as I see you, because you are all beautiful. Trans men, trans women, non-binary, cisgender, you are all beautiful already as you are. Doesn't matter if you're bigger, doesn't matter if you're smaller, doesn't matter if you're buff, not buff. Nay, nay, no. It doesn't matter if you're bigger, smaller, in between, tall, short, transitioning, not transitioning, it doesn't matter. You all will reach your goal when you reach it mentally. Once you can do that, you're perfect. You made it. Alright guys, that's it for today's video. Happy Mother's Day. I know I didn't film on Mother's Day, but to those of you who are mothers or play the role of a mother, I love you. You're an amazing person. You honestly have the hardest role on this earth, and keep doing what you do. But you know what's next. Stay true. Be you. Bye guys.